Welcome. In this video, we will explain how to fill out the form you need to file for custody and/or visitation and child support. The form you need to fill out is called a complaint for custody and/or visitation. This is the form that you will give to the court to start your custody case. In this form, you can also request child support. You can find the form here or go to the courthouse in person to get a copy of the form. In a custody case in D.C., you can ask the court to resolve several issues, such as determining child custody, both legal and physical custody, visitation, and child support. Now that you have the complaint for custody and/or visitation form, let's walk through how to fill it out step by step. On page 1, write your full name on the first line on the top left side of the form. You are the plaintiff because you are the person starting the case. Then, write your home address on the lines below. You can use another address if you are afraid that you will be harassed or harmed if your address is known. If you use another address, check the box for substitute address. Below the plaintiff section, on the left side of the form, under the V, write the other parent's name. The person a case is filed against is called the defendant. Then, write the other parent's address on the lines below the other parent's name. If you don't know the other parent's address, write the last known address you have for them. You must include an address to the best of your knowledge. You must include their information, even if they are deceased or not involved. Leave the spaces next to the words DRB and Judge blank. The court clerk will fill that in for you when you file. Under the title of the form, you can check the box next to Yes if you want to request child support in this case. If not, select No. In the space below the title of the document that says Print your name, write your name and move to question 1. This is where you tell the court what children are involved in this case. Question 1 says, the children in this case, and then asks you to complete the chart with each child's full name, date of birth, and gender. Now you will move on to page 2, question 2. Here you will tell the court your relationship to the children in this case. You should select one option. For example, if you are the biological parent, you may select the first box titled, I'm the biological or adoptive parent. If you are not the biological parent, but you have been the caretaker of the children, you may select the second box titled, I'm the caretaker, and list your relationship to the child in the blank space. For example, you may be the aunt, grandpa, etc. If neither option applies to you, you may select the third box, Other, and fill in your relationship to the children. Next, move to the third question, which tells the court the other party's relationship to the children in this case. You should select one option. For example, if the other person in this case, the defendant, is the biological parent, you may select the first box titled, The other party is the biological or adoptive parent. If the other party is not the biological parent, but they have been the caretaker of the children, you may select the second box titled, The other party is the caretaker. His or her relationship to the children is, and complete the blank space. For example, the other party may be a grandparent, brother, aunt, etc. If neither option applies to the other party, you may select the third box, Other, and fill in their relationship to the children. Now we will move on to question 4, titled, This court is the proper place to decide issues of child custody because. This is where you will tell the court why D.C. is the proper place to start this custody case. There are 6 options, and we will walk through each of them carefully. You will check the first box if D.C. is the children's home state. This means that the children have lived in D.C. for at least 6 months immediately before you file this complaint. You will check the second box if the children do not currently live in D.C., but D.C. was their home state, and the children have been away from D.C. for less than 6 months before you filed this complaint, and a parent, or a person acting as a parent, continues to live in D.C. For example, you may have moved to Maryland with the children in the last few months and the other parent still lives in D.C. You will check the third box titled Significant Connections if there is no home state or the home state has declined to exercise jurisdiction on the grounds that D.C. is the more appropriate forum, and the children and at least one parent or person acting as a parent have a significant connection with D.C., and there is substantial evidence available in D.C. concerning the children's care, protection, training, and personal relationships. You will check the fourth box titled More Appropriate Court If you are in a situation where all courts with jurisdiction had declined to exercise their jurisdiction in favor of D.C. because this is the more appropriate court to determine custody of the children, you will check the fifth box titled No Other Court if there is no other court with jurisdiction to determine custody of the children. You will check the sixth box title, Temporary Emergency Jurisdiction, if D.C. is not the home state, but the children are present in D.C. and the children have been abandoned, or it is necessary in an emergency to protect the children because the children, or a sibling or parent of the children, is or are subjected to or threatened with mistreatment or abuse. Now that you have marked why D.C. should hear this custody case, you will move on to the next question. Question 5 is at the top of page 3. It states, the minor children currently live at the following addresses with the following persons. You will complete the chart with the following information for each child: full name, current address, the date they started living at this address, and who the children lived with, for example, you, the other parent, a caretaker, etc. You should do your best to remember the date the children started living at this address. If you cannot remember the specific date of the month, but you know the month and year, you can put 3/1/2024 for example. Next, you will move to question 6, which states over the last 5 years, the children have lived in the following places with the following persons, and complete the chart with the following information: each child's name, previous address, what dates the child lived at that address, and who the child lived with at that address. You will also need to put the current address of the person they lived with. It is important to put the address for each child for the last 5 years. Next, you will move to question 7 titled, The following people, who are not parties to this case, have physical custody of or claim rights of legal or physical custody of or visitation with the children. You will complete this question if there are other people that you did not list as the plaintiff or defendant that are claiming rights to the children. If so, complete the chart below with their name and current address. If there are no other people, you can skip this question and move to question 8. Question 8 asks if there are any other cases involving the custody of the children in this case. If not, you will check the first box titled, There are no other cases concerning custody of or visitation with the children, and there are no other cases that could affect this proceeding. If you are aware of other cases, you will check the second box titled, The following cases concern custody of or visitation with the children or could affect this proceeding, for example, divorce, child support, domestic violence, neglect, etc., and complete the table below with the following information: the court the case is in, the case number, the type of case, domestic violence, custody, divorce, etc., and the date the case was determined or ruled on. Question 9 will also inquire about your knowledge of and participation in other cases related to this matter. If you are a party or witness or participant of any kind in any other proceeding concerning the custody of or visitation with the children, select I was. If not, select I was not. Now we will move on to questions 10 through 12, which discuss the custody options you are requesting. Question 10 asks if you are asking for joint or sole legal custody. In D.C., legal custody is defined as the legal responsibility for a child. The term legal custody includes the right to make decisions regarding the child's health, education, and general welfare, the right to access the child's educational, medical, psychological, dental, or other records, and the right to speak with and obtain information regarding the child from school officials, healthcare providers, counselors, or other persons interacting with the child. In D.C., the starting point under the law is joint custody. However, if you believe it is not in the best interest of the minor children and you believe sole custody is best, you can select sole custody. Question 11 asks if you are asking for joint or sole physical custody and/or visitation. In D.C., physical custody is defined as a child's living arrangements. The term physical custody includes a child's residency or visitation schedule. Again, in D.C., the starting point under the law is joint custody. This does not always mean 50-50. It can be any combination of shared custody. However, if you believe it is not in the best interest of the minor children and you believe sole custody is best, you can select sole custody. If you believe there should only be visitation, you can select visitation. Now we will move on to question 12, where you can tell the court why you think that joint custody is not in the best interest of the minor children. If any of the following issues are part of your case, you can check the relevant boxes. There has been domestic violence. There has been child abuse. There has been child neglect. There has been parental kidnapping. And/or joint custody is not in the best interest of the children. Question 13 is about visitation. This is where you will tell the court what you think you and the other party can do about visitation. For example, you can select the first box if you think that you and the other party can work out a visitation schedule. If you think the court needs to create the schedule, you should select the second box. If you believe that the other party's visitation should be supervised, you can select the third box and state why. Finally, if you believe the other party should not have any visitation, you can select the fourth box and state why. Now we will move on to question 14, which deals with child support. If you are asking for child support in this case, select I am. If you are not asking for child support in this case, select I am not seeking child support on behalf of the children. Please note, you can ask for child support as part of your custody case, file a separate complaint for child support anytime before the child turns 21, or you can ask for the DC Child Support Services Division to assist. They will file a separate child support case. To learn more about this option, go to the Child Support Services Division website at cssd.dc.gov. Question 15 asks if you know of any proceedings in D.C. or in any state or territory involving the same claim or subject matter as this case. For example, another case in another state regarding custody and/or child support of these same children. If not, select I do not and move to the next page. If so, select I do and complete the chart below with the following information: the court the case is in, the case number, and the type of case, for example, divorce, custody, child support, domestic violence, and etc. Finally, we will move to page 6, where you summarize for the court what you are asking for. This is called your request for relief. You can check all the issues that you want the court to decide for you. If you want the court to grant you sole or joint physical custody, check Grant Me and check Sole or Joint. If you want the court to grant you sole or joint legal custody, check Grant Me and check Sole or Joint. If you want the other party to have visitation with the children, you will select Allow blank to visit with the children and put the person's name in the blank space. If you want the other party to have supervised visitation with the children, you will select the next box, Allow only supervised visitation. If you do not want the other party to have visitation with the children, you will select the next box, Allow no visitation. If you are asking for child support, you will want to mark the next two sections. The first section is titled Award Child Support according to the Child Support Guideline of the District of Columbia and other applicable laws. You will also want to check any of the following options you want to request: current child support, support starting today and continuing into the future, retroactive child support, support for time before today up to 24 months, health insurance. Then, check the box next to the type of child support you want. Current child support starts the day you file and continues into the future. Retroactive child support is for a time period before you filed, which can be up to 24 months before your request. Medical support is for the child's health insurance. You can select more than one box. Select all the boxes that apply to your situation. The second section is titled Hold a hearing on my request for child support within 4 to 5 days of filing and issue a notice of hearing and order directing appearance, NAHODA, to the other party with the date and time of the hearing. Finally, if you and the other party have an agreement, you will check the last section, Note that we have a written agreement. You can then select if you want the agreement included in the court order or not. You're almost done. Now, you must complete the affirmation and signature section. If everything you filled out is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, then sign your name on the first line, to e-sign, type \name \, and print your name below it. You do not need to get your signature notarized. On the third line, write an address where the court can send you mail. If you list another address because you fear harassment or harm if your address is known, check the box that says Substitute Address. Otherwise, fill out your home address on the third line. Then, fill out your telephone number on the fourth line and finally, your email address on the fifth line. Make sure you include the date you completed the form. When you file papers with the court, you must serve the other party. You, not the court, are responsible for getting the copies to the other party. This is called service of process. To find out more about service of process, check out the court service of process video linked on the screen and in the video description. Finally, page 9 has a confidential information form that you have to fill out. This form asks for information about you, the other party, and your children. It also asks about what language you speak, if there are any related cases, and if you have concerns about your safety or your children's safety. This information is just for the court. It will not be shared with the other party and is not public information. Again, please fill out this form to the best of your ability. You have now completed the complaint for custody and/or visitation. Congratulations! You're almost done. There is one more form you might need. The filing fee for custody is $80. If you can't afford this, you can ask the court to waive the fees. We will walk you through how to fill out a fee waiver form in Video 7, how to ask the court to waive the filing fees. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you want more information about other steps in the custody process, including how to file your documents, how to serve the other party, how to estimate child support using the DC Child Support Calculator, and how to obtain a fee waiver, check out the rest of the videos on our YouTube channel.